What's up, guys? This is Mr. Eldridge, and in today's video, we're going to look at the third-party system. While the Compromise of 1850 had reasserted the Fugitive Slave Act, a new issue arose regarding the legal status of slaves in free states. Dred Scott, a slave, was taken from a slave state to a free state. At this point, Scott decided to sue for his freedom, as he was residing in a free state, and took his case to the Supreme Court to win legal freedom. The court ruled that Scott could not be freed because slaves were considered property, not individuals. The court decided that property could not be confiscated without due process of law. This meant that escaped slaves had to be returned to the South, and furthermore, explicitly defined slaves as inhuman property. As such, efforts to free or harbor slaves in the North, such as the efforts of Harriet Tubman and her Underground Railroad, were decried by Southerners as violations of federal law. In 1859, you are going to have a radical abolitionist by the name of John Brown attempt to incite a slave rebellion. After raiding the Federal Arms Reserve at Harper's Ferry, Virginia, Brown and several blacks planned to start a mass slave rebellion and end slavery by force. While the Virginia State Militia stopped Brown and his raiders, the event raised fears in the South that Northerners were plotting to eliminate slavery in the United States. Combined with the abolitionist publications of items such as Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe, Harper's Ferry increased sectional tensions and tilted the South towards separation. The beginnings of the third-party system truly begins with the election of 1860 between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. The Republican Party is going to be led by candidate Abraham Lincoln, and the Democratic candidate will be Stephen Douglas. Now, there will be other nominees, but those will be the two main nominees. Lincoln was expressly opposed to the practice of slavery on moral grounds, but did not want to incite riots within the southern states into seceding. In fact, Abraham Lincoln was opposed to the spread of slavery into the territories. Instead, Lincoln wanted to stop the spread of slavery, such as those of the Free Soil movement. Lincoln was a member of the Free Soil Party. Lincoln won the Electoral College and the presidency without winning a single southern state, as you see here. Considering his views on slavery and the fact that southern states no longer had the numbers to protect slavery in Congress, they largely interpreted the election of Abraham Lincoln as a movement towards abolition and a time for their secession. Threats of secession from the Union had been made before, especially in the South. Remember, we go back to Unit 4 and we talk about the nullification crisis in the state of South Carolina, with John C. Calhoun leading the charge against the Tariff of Abominations. When arguing over the makeup of the Congress in the 1780s, several states had threatened secession before the Connecticut Compromise at the Constitutional Convention, citing that states had the right to, quote-unquote, nullify unconstitutional laws. South Carolina in the 1830s showed their willingness to fight or at least leave over disagreements in regards to state rights. After the election of 1860, the southern states resolved to protect by force what they saw as their right to regulate slavery in their own states. Thank you so much for paying attention to this video. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so. Thank you so much, and you have a great day.